You mentioned earlier about living outside the country. How did you end up in Mexico? Um, that's a. I mean, so I was doing my prep and I was like, all right, he's fluent in two and a half languages. Um, did you speak Spanish fluently?
No, I went to Mexico. I didn't know anything. I didn't know
Goodness.
any Spanish at all. I knew about 6 or 8 words. Most of them were
Mm-hmm.
numbers. And I had graduated from law school, and I was working in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at the office, and this one of the partners walked by my office, and it was late. It was like 8 o'clock and at night, and I just had this terror. It's like, oh my god, like it just hit me, and it's hard for me to explain.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, what if that's me? What
Wow.
if I'm 80 and I'm in the office,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I have, just my personality, which is another reason why, I have a complicated mental relationship with the military, is because,
Mm-hmm.
I'm extremely, I value my freedom, right?
Facts.
Even if I don't use it, I value it.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that, I would have to go here because someone says go here or go there, or maybe because I'm trapped, or, because I've got these kids, or maybe I'm trapped because, I'm in this job that I can't shirk. I got to go to
Mm-hmm.
trial and this and that, or maybe I got to pay somebody's college tuition, and so now I can't retire because I got 2 kids in college and 2 kids in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had this mentality of just wanting to be free.
Yeah.
And when I contemplated, the road that I was on, I went to Mexico,
Wow.
and it was an extremely valuable experience. I would be much less of a man if I did not have that trip, I have that experience. Now I don't talk about it much,
Mm-hmm.
because the people on my, they don't care about Mexico or anything like
Right.
that. But I'm just a black dude from Decatur,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the first time where I actually lived in a country, and I saw things, man, and I
Wow.
did some things. That was from when I was like 24 to 26,
Mm-hmm.
and just and my Spanish, when I came back, my Spanish was so good. And
Wow.
now my Spanish isn't that great anymore because language is a use it or lose it type of thing. It's just like your just like your pecs.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't
Facts.
use them, right,
They go away.
that's
Entropy.
exactly right. That's
Yep.
yes, and that's how we all are. That's like isn't that one of the laws of nature or something like
No.
that?
Everything
So
tends toward disorder.
yes, and
Yeah.
so my Spanish now is in disorder. Shout out to Luke Hazley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, there are a few experiences that I've had. Some are big or smaller, where it's just like that was living outside of another country, and not just Australia or something, right?
Yeah.
But a country that was so different, a country where I was
Mm-hmm.
so frustrated at times because I'm a grown man. I was an attorney at the time, and I felt I was speaking like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people would treat me like a child. I remember very distinctly. I had some girlfriends when I was down there, and I had one of my very first girlfriends when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a restaurant, and I had to tell her what I wanted, and then she would tell the waitress, and the waitress would kind of look at me, but really just looking at my girlfriend. It's like I'm a
Right.
grown ass man. I can't even read the menu. I don't know what's going on. Right?
Right.
I just don't know what's going on. I was dating this one girl, man, in this city. That whole, I mean, oh my God.
See. See.
There's so much stuff I can tell you. So much stuff
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you. But I remember, man, I was at her apartment. I had moved in with her.
Oh Lord. See.
I had moved in with this chick that I had known for a week. And
Goodness.
she would go
That
to
good.
work, man. She would go to work, and I would stay at home with her sister who was in college. And she was older than
Lead.
me. Man, listen, we've all lived some real lives. And I
Lead attorney was out
remember,
here, man.
listen, I
He was out here.
remember, well, in our 20s, we all did such stupid stuff, man.
I
But
mean,
how old are you?
29.
Jesus, are you 29? You're so
Yes, sir.
young.
I mean, we try
God
to be grown a
damn.
little bit, but yeah.
Man, listen, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but going living in Mexico off and on for 5 or 6 years, it you would have to know me to see, or to really appreciate it. And even then, um, it's hard for me to explain to someone how much of an impact that had on me as a person and as a man, the experiences that I had in that country, the things that I struggled with, the things that I learned. If I had not gone through those struggles and learned those things and experienced so many, beautiful things, if I would just stayed in Atlanta just working, I would just be less.
Hmm.
I would be less of a person.
Facts.
Maybe you can say that about you. If you hadn't joined the military, if you had just gone to college and now you're
Yeah.
just some middle manager or something, you had never lived in Alaska, you had
Yeah.
never known, some of the great things, some of the
Mm.
hardships,
Facts.
right? You might, those things added to me. And so if I had just, gone straight through just like everybody else, I would be less.
Yeah.
Certainly different, but maybe less. Right.
True.
And so yeah, that it was deep down there. It was
Hey,
deep, but you
listen.
get perspective, right? I
Facts.
mean, certainly Alaska isn't a different country, but it could to people who've never been up there, it
Hmm.
seems like it's wild living. What were your experiences up there? What do you consider yourself uh, an improved or more of a person that you've had that experience as opposed to if you had not had those
Definitely.
experiences?
I feel a lot more nuanced. Um, First of all, as it relates to the sun, you mentioned like the effects and the benefits of heat. Um, there's there's months where you'd be grateful to see the sun in Alaska. That whole so to contrast that with the Middle East, I was out there for 6 months. The sun, the sky is it's just so beautiful. It looks fake. It looks so fake to look at the sky, the sunset, sunrise. I believe there was one morning the sun was white. I have a picture of it. The sun was white. I was like, how is that possible? And
Well,
all around
actually,
it,
the sun is white. That's the
technically,
thing,
but
right?
the perception of it was white. I was like, how am I perceiving the sun to be? And so of course Alaska was.
Is it because there's less atmosphere? Because the sun is actually white.
I'm
Like
not even sure.
if you take every single picture taken
Hmm.
of the sun in space, it's as white as this YouTube screen. The
Right.
sun is white. It's not orange or yellow or anything like that. So
Hmm.
it's interesting how you were able to see it in its natural color, but it is
Right.
it is white. Maybe it's the interaction of the light with the atmosphere, and
Hmm.
maybe the pollution or something like that. But
It
that's
was
interesting. You're
beautiful.
able to see that.
It
Yeah.
was beautiful. But yeah, Alaska was an experience that I don't want to have again. It was dope for. Luckily, it was just a short tour, so I was only up there for a year. I almost got stuck for an extra 3 years, and luckily I got New Mexico after that. But yeah, everything from, I mean, right now there's about 4 feet of snow currently, and it's frozen solid, because the temperature probably won't get above -20ish. And it'll probably get as low as -47, -50, -60. You plug your car in at night. If you stop at Walmart for too long, you plug your car into an outlet. There's outlets lining every parking lot. And again, it's not so much that it's life changing experiences up there, but it gives you an appreciation for vitamin D. Just the sun shining for more than 2 to 4 hours today. And you actually feel the heat. The winters, I was in New Mexico and it was winter. In Texas, it was winter. It snowed occasionally, but you never felt like, all right, my car's not going to start this morning, or I forgot to plug my car in, so I know it's not going to start. It's the engine block. Like you have to get your car winterized up there. I grew up in upstate New York, where it snowed. It was lake effect pretty much every morning, but we never had to plug our cars in. We never had to worry about our engine block freezing, or our transmission needed to be warmed up first. You never worried about those type of things. Whereas in Alaska, everything, like, you have to prep. You have to, like, I literally went on Amazon and bought tow rope for like a car 2 times heavier than mine just to make sure. I'm like, and I got stuck multiple
Wow.
times, like sitting in. So yeah, it was a lot of experiences that I documented on this channel, mainly for those who are going there after me because I won't be going. But yeah, it was definitely eye opening. Being in the Middle East was probably my favorite experience in the Air Force. Just kind of like I used to love going to like the small holes in the wall and seeing, like, not the tourist people and not the people that are representing the people that live there, but like going to a gas station, that I should not know about. Like a tourist person or someone who's living there temporarily, I want to go to the gas station that's off the beaten path and see what they doing in there. And like, just this is the real, like going to the mall and like just people watching. You get, you get to understand what their how their lives are, and obviously only to a certain point. But just seeing people in their own natural habitat, and it sounds weird saying it. It sounds like someone who's not well traveled, but I'm really not. I've been obviously I've only lived in one other country outside of the U.S., and I've only traveled to one other country outside of the airports that we stopped in. But kind of having those experiences is why I want to travel more, is to be able to see more than just the American perspective. Because honestly, we're spoiled, and we've never experienced a lot. We're a very young country relative to other countries. Like we're babies. So we don't have a lot of perspectives of a lot of the older European countries or Asian countries. So it's definitely something I want to tap into more. And obviously I'm trying to leverage YouTube because you can do YouTube anywhere, and the US dollar is amazing. So take this US dollar to Venezuela somewhere and just buy a castle for $25. Like, I'm definitely trying to leverage that.